that every generation has a challenge or a mission that has been laid before them. Years ago it was civil rights or the environment, but the challenge before this generation is whether or not we're going to properly care for people with disabilities, or whether or not we're going to return to the days when we used to send them off to places like Penhurst and Byberry State Hospital. A serious drawback of the current budget proposal is that it does not address the needs of our 15,877 citizens with intellectual disabilities that are on the waiting list for services, most of whom are in emergency or critical need status. Many of these individuals are well into their 60s and are cared for at home by elderly parents, some of whom are literally into their 90s. It's my belief and my conviction, and that of my colleagues up here, that we have a moral responsibility to support these families. Make no mistake, if this budget passes in its current form, the state will have broken many of its promises to our citizens with developmental disabilities. The first of those promises was that the state would continue to address the waiting list for services in Pennsylvania. This budget does not do one thing to address the waiting list. The state needs to provide the appropriate community services for the sons and daughters of those parents who are now elderly and are no longer able to care for their child. Additionally, Pennsylvania must properly and finally move thousands of individuals with intellectual disabilities who are capable from segregated settings to community living. Pennsylvania promised those individuals when they left their institutions that they would receive appropriate care in the community. And that's all I have to say, but I just want to say one last thing. Sometimes people say, well, where's this money going to come from? I just want to remind you that myself and Representative DiGirolamo and Representative D'Alessio sponsored some legislation not too long ago that many of our colleagues turned their nose up at, but it was a tax on the extraction of natural gas in Pennsylvania. This was this was a reasonable tax, and this tax that we proposed would have appropriated millions of dollars for both the care for adults with intellectual disabilities, the programs and services for that mission, but also money for the drug and alcohol rehabilitation programs across the Commonwealth. But in addition to that, it would have provided millions of dollars for environmental stewardship activities, an issue for another day. Thank you for coming today. God bless you.